Welcome to the series where we play through every Harry Potter game chapter by chapter. Chapter 8 covers Harry's first week of school. This is at the point where the games really start to shine. The sequence of events from this point forward is somewhat vague, with many games changing the timeline order so much that we can no longer simply cut off gameplay where the chapter ends. The major benchmarks I am using are specific dates, such as Halloween and Christmas. For example, it doesn't matter if multiple significant events from much later in the book happen before Halloween. They will be covered prematurely in the series because the game dates them so. Then the events corresponding to chapters will be used, even if this results in multiple different chapters happening within a chapter. Now, Harry has much to do now, so on to the gameplay. We return to LEGO Harry Potter Years 1 through 4DS. On his first morning at Hogwarts, Percy makes Harry and Ron introduce themselves to the other Gryffindor students. They must find Lee Jordan his lost megaphone and Neville his lost Trevor. Leaving the common room, Harry is assaulted for the second time in this series by a suit of armor. Ron can offer the answer why. Chameleon glows possess the armor. Harry and Ron arrive in class, and Professor Flitwick teaches the students the charm Wingardium Leviosa. This is premature and should normally happen on Halloween, but as we'll see, this game makes it clear that Halloween actually happens later. This lesson is not intrinsically tied to Halloween like a certain other incident is. Anyway, you draw more touchscreen gestures to levitate the objects under Flitwick's instruction until the level is completed. The next level is Transfiguration. The book already describes their first Transfiguration lesson as turning matchsticks into needles. Furthermore, this is a continuation of the film-only scene where Harry and Ron arrive in McGonagall's class late. Thus, Transfiguration class meets multiple times per week. The magic performed here is quite a step up from matchsticks to needles, such as turning pieces of furniture into statues. There's no specific spell learned, but you must draw the same shape and then put the Lego bricks together in a puzzle to transform the object. After you do this to all the objects Professor McGonagall has prepared, this short level is complete. I've mentioned No Wonder before, the parent company of Kryptonite Games, which made the Game Boy Color version. No Wonder's main developers independently made the computer version of Harry Potter. It shares some passing similarities to the 2003 Warthog game and uses the same music and voice actors, but has different, less cartoony graphics. It was one of the first games to use Epic Games' Unreal Engine, releasing on Windows PCs November 2001, like the movie and the other initial games, and on Mac February the next year. Gameplay starts with Dumbledore giving Harry some words of wisdom in the entrance hall. Harry meets up with Ron, who leaves him with his brothers Fred and George. The Weasley twins take Harry through a secret shortcut to class and teach him how to climb, jump, and collect beans. They have Harry collect 25 in exchange for a wizard card, and then Harry climbs a narrow stairway to the third floor. Draco Malfoy shows up and reintroduces himself.
Well, if it isn't the famous Harry Potter. I'm Draco Malfoy, and you do well to show me respect. These are my fellow Slytherins, Crabbe and Goyle. Naturally, we Slytherins are going to win the House Cup and the Quidditch Cup. You better stay out of our way, Potter. Let's go, boys.
He must be pretending that he never fraternized with Harry on friendlier terms. Outside Defense Against the Dark Arts class, Harry briefly encounters Hermione Granger before entering Professor Quirrell's classroom. There is evidence that not only does this class fit into Chapter 8, unlike Wingardium Leviosa, but may have been on his first day ever. The sole detail the book gives about the first day is that Harry and Ron blew caretaker Argus Filch's ire by getting close to the forbidden corridor. You can do that in this very area if you walk
Move
over
along,
there.
Potter. Keep away from this corridor if you know what's good for you.
Not only that, but Professor Quirrell is the one who saved him from getting into trouble with Filch in the book. So Harry goes to his likely first ever lesson in this game, Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Selves against the dark magic with the Flipendo spell. Watch my wand, then hold down the mouse button and repeat the pattern. Release the button when you're done.
The spell tracing minigame is frustrating, but once you get through it, you get to use your new spell in the Flipendo Challenge. These spell challenges, a staple of the Harry Potter games, are unfortunately considered non-canon by the Harry Potter wiki. There is actually some precedent in the books with the third year Defense Against the Dark Arts exam being an obstacle course, so the spell challenges are somewhat justifiable as headcanon. In contrast to the example from the books, the Flipendo challenge is indoors, large and elaborate. Professor Quirrell tells Harry how Flipendo can exert directional force on all sorts of things. Harry encounters Sir Nicholas again, who informs him about save game books.
Gryffindor House Ghost. Now, this is a save game book. When you touch it, your game will automatically be saved. The game will restart from this point if you faint. You can also load a saved game from the main menu.
At the end of the challenge, Harry enters a living room to use Flipendo to defend himself against some naughty gnomes. Then Quirrell congratulates Harry and awards house points for every challenge star he collected.
All the challenge stars. 20 points for Gryffindor.
The Game Boy Advance version tells a similar story. Made by Kryptonite Games along with the completely different Game Boy Color version, this game opens with Harry at Hogwarts attending Defense Against the Dark Arts to learn Flipendo. Here, Harry doesn't have to trace Flipendo's symbol, but must mimic Professor Quirrell's dance moves? Harry Flipendos his way through the shorter version of the challenge here, and then must attend potions of Professor Snape. Harry goes down to the dungeons, and Snape punishes him for being the last two alive by sending him to fetch 6 vials in a gnome-filled dungeon. After collecting them, Harry returns to the other students. Snape gives homework of gathering ingredients for a Wiggenweld potion. Harry visits Hagrid, who lets Harry borrow Dittany, one of the ingredients, from his garden. That is, if he can reach it. This so-called garden is full of bottomless pits, so you better watch your step. There are moving platforms that Harry must move onto at precisely the right time. Even if there is no gap visible, you should wait until they are completely stationary for the best chance of not falling through. After solving a puzzle of rolling these turnip egg-looking things onto buttons, Harry is able to cross the largest void to reach the island containing the Dittany, then carefully make it all the way back to Hagrid. In the book, Harry has tea with Hagrid, but here it's strictly business, as we're done here now. In the Game Boy Color version, Harry wakes up to immediately go to potions.
Maybe some of you have come to Hogwarts in possession of abilities so formidable that you feel confident enough to not pay attention. Mr. Potter, our property.
Neville makes a mistake and has his potion blow up in his face, like in the book. Snape sends Harry to gather the potion ingredients to heal Neville. His quest brings him to Snape's office, Hagrid's backyard, and outside the herbology greenhouses. There are dangerous creatures to fight in all these places, of course, and they're much stronger than before, in contrast to the pushovers encountered when first arriving. Harry returns to Snape's class and can then leave to go to other lessons. Those other lessons will be next week, as the first potions lesson in the book is the last class on Friday. In the GameCube, PS2, Xbox version, we also go to potions immediately. Snape gives his speech, and just like in the GBA version, assigns the homework of collecting ingredients for a Wiggenroad potion. That's the whole class, just a cutscene. The last game covered in this episode will be the final new game for Year 1, the infamous PlayStation 1 version. It was developed by Argonaut Games. An early pioneer of 3D graphics in games, Argonaut was hired by Nintendo in 1990 to create the Super FX chip, and its debut game, Star Fox. Despite their early success in 3D games, Argonaut sure did fumble Harry Potter's graphics. Harry Potter PS1 is the most well-known adaptation game, outside of the LEGO ones, simply due to memes about its bad graphics. There have been better-looking games on the original PlayStation released years beforehand, so technical limitations aren't really to blame. There are so many other videos and articles about the graphics that for me to talk any more about them would be beating a dead horse. Just note that I haven't found them to interfere with the gameplay. The environment is just clear enough. This version opens just like the PC version, with Dumbledore meeting Harry in the entry hall.
Welcome to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. I am Albus Dumbledore, your headmaster.
There is no Chapter 8 event in this version, such as encountering floats at the third floor or potions class. This last part could happen in either this or the next chapter, but I wanted to introduce all the games now. Chapter 9 will be packed anyway. The events of this game most likely take place the first weekend. It takes place outside of class, and the same Daily Prophet newspaper about a break-in at Gringotts that Harry finds at the end of the chapter can be found in the Gryffindor common room here. Gryffindor Tower is the only unlocked door, so Harry must go here first. Seemingly located on the ground floor, the opposite of where it should be. Outside the common room, Harry meets Fred and George, who ask Harry to collect beans like in the computer game, but there are no beans to be found anytime soon. Harry enters the Charms corridor and meets Ron, who has bad news. Hedwig has been outnapped by Draco Malfoy. In the next room, they instantly find a snide Slytherin.
Go home to your mother, Potter. Oh, sorry, you don't have one, do you?
Harry must take an extremely roundabout way to finally reach the ledge where Draco was perched on. Following a trail of Hedwig's feathers, Harry must for some reason collect all of them in each room to unlock the door to the next. Harry meets nearly headless Nick again in the next room, called the Tower, with an exclamation point. None of the other door descriptions include an exclamation point. I guess this tower was enthusiastically named. From the Tower, Harry enters another location invented for this game, the Jinx Rooms. Encountering poisonous snails within, Nick tells Harry he can cast Flipendo. He just can now. This makes a lot more sense of the other game's context of him learning this spell from Quirrell earlier. Throughout the next rooms, Harry uses Flipendo to push Jinx blocks and defend Neville from some flapping books. Neville and Harry reach Hedwig's cage, and Harry blasts open the bars. Malfoy had already fled a while before like the coward he is. Harry jumps back down from the ledge to the beginning, But Neville doesn't follow. He claims he's lost Trevor yet again, but is possibly just too scared to jump all the way down like Harry did. Harry and Ron leave together, ending this episode. We finally got all the games introduced now. Next week we will see Harry's next week of school.